I am 28 broke up with my girlfriend because she F28 wanted Maine to pay for everything. I regret my decision. Was I in the wrong? I am 28 broke up with my then girlfriend F28 of 4 years because of money. Throughout my relationship with my ex, I always paid for dates, which I am completely okay with. I paid for small trips we'd take across the state, and she never had to drive a single time. She lived about 1.75 hours away and had a nicer car than me. I'd always pick her up and drop her off. I did not mind doing those things at all. Matter of fact, I loved it. Things became tricky when she came to me with expectations about money a year into the relationship. She told me that she expected me to start contributing to her bills, such as her phone bill, her nails, and her hair. She also requested I pay for her special cosmetic skin treatments, shopping, cosmetic products, and help her with her car payments. When we had this conversation the first time, it hit me like a truck. I thought I was being financially used, and I disputed this for months on end. At some point, she told me that the men she had dated in the past did all that plus more. She wasn't lying about it. I saw the receipts. One of them even took her on vacation. I was not jealous about this or feeling insecure about it at the time. She told me that that's how relationships are, and I shouldn't see it as an expense, rather a token of my love and appreciation towards her, especially if I'm working towards getting married. All my friends disagreed with this and told me to dump her, but I didn't. She made me extremely happy in every other aspect of my life. I've been in a few relationships, but none like this. No woman had as much of an effort to make me happy, let alone a woman this attractive, because she definitely turned a lot of heads when we were out together. I was taken care of, and deeply loved, and understood so well, and even my bad quirks were accepted and appreciated. She said she understood I didn't make as much as the last men she dated, and she didn't want to compare. She said it was about the gesture and my willingness to do so. So with that, I started paying a few of her bills, for her shopping and other things. Over time, I started getting stressed about money, because I didn't have the funds to do things I wanted to in life, like improving my standard of living. I couldn't afford investing, or a house, or a newer car. I started to also feel insecure because I wasn't earning enough money. Because of this, I started to resent going on dates or other activities because I was struggling financially to keep up. I tried explaining to her that things were tight, but she said it was my job to figure things out, and that she wouldn't compromise, because what I was doing was the bare minimum. She felt disrespected or unloved when I said no to things. I'm not the type of man to indulge in luxury myself. I'm super simple, and I felt like I couldn't keep up with her, or what her exes did for her. My insecurities got worse, and at this point my friends and parents were telling me that if I did these things for any other girl, I'd be treated even better and that I was being taken advantage of. My breaking point was when she asked for a nose job. I told her I couldn't afford it, and she said I could just get it on a payment plan. At that point I told her I had enough, and we broke up. We were on and off for a few weeks because we were still close, and the love was mutual. However, eventually we drifted away. Since then, I've been alone and reflecting on my decision. My friends and family did not like her at all and said I was being taken advantage of. However, I keep hearing how it's becoming more common for men to offer to pay for a woman's things. Men enjoy taking care of their women and pampering them, and that some of them really go out of their way to make sure that their women are showered with gifts. I hear some men say that it's harder for women to make money due to wage differences, etc., let alone as much money as men, so we shouldn't expect them to have to pay for things, or go 50/50 and make their lives easier because we love them. Especially if we want to get married down the road. I'm wondering if the issue was actually me. Was it my fault for not making enough money or working harder to make more? Was I not understanding her love language? Was I wrong to complain about money at all, since this is what some modern relationships look like? Is it the expectation that attractive women have high costs demands? broke up with my girlfriend because she wanted me to pay for bills, shopping, gifts, travel, etc., regretting my decision because now I'm more alone than ever and seeing men around me do these things for their women happily. Was I wrong? Is it my fault I don't make enough to date as a man in my late 20s? Second story. My 31F husband 32M has been killing my houseplants with bleach. I have many houseplants and even some that were quite expensive and were gifts from my sister. Within the last 6 months, at least a third of my plants have died. I have had houseplants my whole life due to my late mother's own love of houseplants, and I know a lot about plants. The death of the plants didn't seem related to lack of light, or inconsistent watering, or lack of nutrients, or even root rot. They just died very suddenly. I tried to not let it upset me too much because plants die and it was not any of the expensive ones, until now. My sister gave me a 5-leaf Monstera albo-rooted plant for my birthday 2 months ago. It was beautiful. This morning I was crying pretty hard about it as I unpotted it and took a look at the roots, and I was looking hard at this plant and roots to see if its death was pest-related, and that's when I noticed a smell. I sniffed my potting mix and I smelled bleach. The only other adult person in my home with unlimited and unobserved access to my plants is my husband. I wasn't able to talk to him for several hours, but when I could speak to him, I very calmly but very directly asked if he had done something to my plants. He denied it at first. I said I smelled bleach in the potting mix of the albo my sister had gotten me, and that the only person that could have put it there was him, and he caved. He said he was putting small amounts of bleach into the fertilizer water jugs I prepare. I started crying. I asked him why. Why would you do this? You know I love these plants. Why would you destroy them? He didn't really answer, nor did he really apologize. The trust I had in him is absolutely gone. I think maybe counseling can help us, but he is the one that did this, but I'm the one that would have to set up the counseling. The angry part of me just wants to be done with the relationship. I know that might seem overboard, as we are married and share a child, but I feel now that I'm not safe around my husband. Edit, I thank everyone for giving advice. The townhouse we live in is mine and my sister's, our inheritance from my mother. My husband has an office den gaming room that is his personal space, and there are no plants there. There are also no plants in the kitchen. I'm not a plant hoarder. Like he has a room for himself, I also have a sunroom, and that is where the concentration of plants live. He has no reason to go in there. It's not access to our backyard or anything. I saw some people saying maybe he's sick of bugs, but I do not have a fungus gnat problem. I did see one person ask why I did not smell the bleach when I was watering. And I can only say my nose wasn't all up in there maybe. I also usually use a natural systemic in my fertilizer water called SNS 209 that smells heavily of rosemary, but I ran out last month and haven't replaced it yet. After our convo yesterday, I needed space. I spent the night in my daughter's room on a trundle bed. I am going to text my husband today. He usually communicates easier and opens up more via text rather than face-to-face. I am going to ask for a reason, and I'll see what he says. Edit 2, sorry, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to update on a separate post. My husband won't be welcome in my home anymore, and I need to find a lawyer ASAP on Monday. I did text him, and he admitted again to putting bleach in my fertilizer water. He says it wasn't every jug I ever made, so that explains why it wasn't all my plants dying but randomly over the past 6 months. His exact words were that I deserved to be knocked down a peg. After the text communication, I went home from work early and I entered his office. I usually respect his space absolutely. I don't even go in there to grab dirty dishes. I don't know what I was looking for, but the hundreds of comments saying he was working up to something worse or already was doing something else really worried me. I went in there and I found a drawer full of my daughter's dolls and dollhouse furniture and little toys. I bought her that dollhouse for her 4th birthday last year, and she has loved it. She takes such good care of her toys, but something always ends up missing, and it's always my husband who notices. He lectures her about keeping track of her things and how he won't let her play with her dollhouse if she keeps losing things. He keeps going till she starts to sob. When I hear this going on, I always step in and ask him to go take a break. I assumed he was losing his cool. I've told him this is not how to deal with this with a kid, and he says he just wants her to grow up responsible. I now see it was some weird scheme? Or set up or something. He would steal the stuff and stash it away, and point out it was gone to berate our daughter till she cried. My sister and her husband's dad came over this afternoon, and they've changed the locks. I've texted him to tell him he isn't coming back, and that he can come on Saturday morning to grab his essential things, but that my bro-in-law and another man would be there to watch. Sorry if this is unclear or things seem missing. This Reddit post isn't super my priority. I will probably not be updating again. Thank you to everyone worried about my safety. Third story. I 28M want a divorce from my wife 27F, but everyone want me to forgive her throwaway for obvious reasons explained below. My wife has been married for 3 years. First, let me say my wife is not struggling with any issues that I am aware of, and we have known each other since grade school. We literally know everything about each other and families. About 2 months ago, I came home and found my wife and 6-month-old daughter on the couch. My wife was asleep, and my daughter next to her. The moment I went in to greet them, I smelled my daughter immediately. She needed a diaper change. I didn't know how long it has been since her last diaper change. I took my daughter from the couch to go and change her diaper. As I didn't want to wake up my wife doesn't sleep during the day, so I know that if I find my wife sleeping during the day, or any time before 9 p.m., she had a hectic day and is just drained. I walked into my daughter's room and placed her on the changing table and started to change her diaper. Not even 2 minutes later, my wife walked into the room, and as I greeted her, she looked at me and looked down to my daughter on the changing table and went into a rage and started to attack me. I was stunned for like a second, and instinct kicked in, and I leaned over my daughter to protect her. My wife was shouting while hitting me, how could I, over and over again, and that I'm a monster. I had no idea at the time what she was talking about, and the morning I left everything was as good as it could be. She then ran out the room. Like 5 minutes later, 3 police officers had me in handcuffs, and my wife going crazy that she caught me my daughter. I was speechless at that moment, and couldn't believe what C was saying. I asked her what she was talking about. All she kept saying is that she saw me doing it. I was arrested and released the next day when the police had a look at the camera footage in my daughter's room, clearly seeing that I was just busy changing her diaper and nothing happened. There is no evidence to support my wife's claims, and she attacked me without provocation. I want a divorce, as I can't believe she would even think that I would do something like that. I haven't spoken to her since I got released, and my phone has been blowing up with calls and texts with her apologies. I honestly don't care about that. The moment she said those words to the police, that I say my daughter, it was like all the love I had for he just left me, and all I feel is a void inside of me at the moment, nothing else. I had her served with divorce papers a week ago, and now everyone is constantly harassing me from my family, her family, our friend, to talk to her and try counseling to sort this out. She can get counseling if she wants, but I will not be involved. I am going for full custody of my daughter. My lawyer has informed me that I will most probably get full custody of my daughter due to my wife's violent outburst on camera, and that I had to shield her with my body and the false claims laid against me, noting her mental state. Everyone is saying I'm taking things too far by divorcing her and trying to take my daughter from her. But nobody can give me a reason as to why she did what she did. She herself in the 374 message hasn't given me an explanation as well, just constant sorrow, and we can go for marriage counseling and individual counseling again. I don't care, she can go by herself. I'm just worn down at the moment as the gravity of everything is hitting me. What should I do? Everyone is on her side. What am I missing?